So you've done the studying, completed the mock exams, and now your real UCAT is less than an hour away. At this stage, there's no more revision you can do, but there's still plenty of things that can separate a smooth exam day from a stressful one. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do before, during, and after the UCAT so that you can walk into your testing center feeling as prepared as possible. And just a quick disclaimer, UCAT policies can change between testing cycles, so make sure to check for the most up-to-date information on the official UCAT website before your exam. But let's jump straight into a full walkthrough of what you can expect for your UCAT testing day. First, let's talk about what you should do the night before your real UCAT. Although you might feel the urge to do some last-minute cramming, try to avoid this at all costs. You'll likely already be very nervous, and trying to go through questions in this state will not only make you more stressed out, but will also waste energy that you should be conserving for your real UCAT. So the day before the UCAT, try to do something relaxing and relatively mindless, and just trust all the studying and preparation that you put into this exam already. The day before, it is also crucial to make sure that you have your entire UCAT schedule planned out. Make sure you know where your UCAT testing center is and exactly how you're going to get there, just to make sure that your transportation is all arranged for the next day already. And leaving on time is a must, because if you end up getting to the testing center late, then there's a possibility that it can put your test at risk and that they will not allow you to sit the exam. The night before, you should also pack your bag with everything that you'll want to take to the UCAT testing center. And to sit the exam, all you really need to bring is an appropriate form of ID, and its many forms are listed on the official UCAT website, as well as some kind of comfortable outfit that you'd be able to test in without distractions. If possible, try to leave your food, drinks, and electronics at home, because in most testing centers, you're not allowed to bring these into the exam room with you. And if you do end up bringing items that you're not allowed to take into the exam room with you, then the testing center might have special lockers to hold these items while you're sitting the UCAT. But always make sure to review the UCAT's official policies on what to bring and what not to bring, as well as any guidelines posted by your specific testing center. It can also help calm your nerves if you familiarize yourself with your testing center's procedures the day before the exam. Usually these procedures are pretty quick and clean, and the main things they might do before you sit your UCAT is check your ID, let you go through the UCAT exam rules, and also perform any extra security checks such as visual inspections. They might also take additional security measures such as taking a photo of you or taking a palm vein scan. And this is normal in some places, so don't freak out if they ask for that as well. And after this, they might show you where to store additional belongings if needed. But knowing all of this before you even step foot into the testing center ensures that nothing catches you off guard and that the whole check-in process can run a lot smoother. And one of the biggest things you can do to set yourself up for success before the UCAT is to get a good night of sleep. In all seriousness, getting 8+ hours of sleep plus a really good breakfast the next day, the morning of the UCAT, are two of the best things other than studying that you can do to prepare yourself for the exam. Because trust me, you don't want to walk in there with an empty stomach and the brain fog from the hunger and then see an energy crash halfway into your exam. And now let's talk about what you should do when you're actually sitting in front of your exam computer and what you should keep in mind from the moment you enter your exam space to the moment you leave. And once you're in there, your main priority should be ensuring that you have all the materials you need to succeed. If needed, you can ask your invigilator for earbuds or for headphones. And you should also ensure that your mouse, keyboard, marker, and laminated notepad are exactly where they need to be. Test your marker before the exam even starts, and if it's faint or patchy, then you should ask your invigilator for a new one immediately. Make sure that your chair and your monitor are adjusted properly for your comfort and that you can see every element of your screen properly as well. And make sure that you're comfortable with the keyboard's number pad before you start. But overall, all of the elements at your testing station should be positioned to maximize comfort and efficiency for your exam. And another important tip is that before your exam starts, you'll have access to an untimed UCAT tutorial. Even if you've seen that dozens of times before in your mock exams, you should really use this time wisely. In this UCAT tutorial time, you should check to make sure that your mouse feels comfortable, you can use the keyboard properly and all of its associated shortcuts, and you're also comfortable with using the on-screen calculator. And once everything is in place and you're about to begin, you should calm your racing nerves with some steady breathing. You need to remind yourself of all the hard work you put into this exam. You should ground yourself in the moment as well and remind yourself how amazing it's going to feel to finally be done with the UCAT. You should also remember that this exam was designed for people, and it was not designed for superhuman creatures or for robots, and that high score is possible. And if you've been studying a lot, then you've probably seen some mock scores before the real exam, so you do have a rough idea of what to expect already. Some level of nerves can actually be beneficial for exams like the UCAT because it gives you the extra boost of adrenaline that you need to get through the questions quickly, but just ensure that you're not seizing up with panic before the exam starts. Okay, now this is the exciting part. Let's discuss what you should do when you're actually taking the UCAT. So let's say that you passed the introduction section and you're finally going through the questions with the timer already ticking. Make sure to employ the same methods that worked for you when you were going through your mock exams during your studying and go through those questions ruthlessly. If it helps, keep an eye on the timer as you're going through the questions, which would have automatically started as soon as you began your first timed section. And most importantly, just make sure to get into your UCAT flow state, whatever that is for you. And anytime you have information breaks between the sessions, make sure to use this additional time to switch gears in your mind and think about exactly what section you're going to work on next and what strategies you should employ to get through the questions as quickly as possible. You can also prepare your testing station for the next session by doing things such as bringing the laminated paper closer to you and practicing more deep breathing and relaxation techniques. But it's important to stay in the moment as well, so make sure that you're keeping an eye on the timer and that the next section does not start without you realizing it. And once you finish the last question in your situational judgment section and the timer is up, wait for the end screen to pop up on your monitor and then let the invigilator know that you're done. And you should embrace the feeling of the UCAT weight lifting off of your shoulders. And the hardest part is finally past you, so you can stretch, take a deep breath, and finally switch your brain out of UCAT testing mode for the rest of the summer. You are officially in phase 3 of your UCAT journey, which is life after the exam. And you may or may not feel like a changed person by this point. You'll usually be handed your UCAT score report shortly after finishing the exam, and before you leave the testing center, it's a good call just to make sure that it has your name and the exam's date on it. It'll also be available on the UCAT applicant portal soon afterwards. But just as you did before you took the exam, take a deep breath and then open up that paper to see what your score is. And for the rest of that day, do whatever feels most emotionally right to you at that time. It's okay if you feel like crying, but no matter if those tears are happy or sad, it's important to reward all the hard work and studying that you put in to get to that point. But if your UCAT is coming up soon and you've made it this far in the video, then I can already tell that you're the type of person who likes to be well prepared and that the most important thing for you to do on your test day is to not overthink it. Because no matter what score ends up on that report, you've already done something incredibly difficult by signing up for, studying, and sitting one of the most demanding admissions exams out there. And if the score is not what you hoped for, remember that there are so many other paths to get into medicine, with one of them even being retaking the UCAT the next testing cycle if you're eligible. But please remember that one exam does not define your future. I'm truly proud of each and every one of you, whether your UCAT's coming up soon or you've already sat the UCAT and you're watching this video for some reason. I really do hope that your UCAT exam day goes as smoothly as possible. And if you're someone who's still studying for the UCAT, then make sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel, and check out the entire library of videos that I've made to help students succeed in the UCAT. But thank you so much for watching this video, and remember that I believe in you.